All your school rugby, all in one place. This is Next Gen 50.
Starting record. Hi, I'm Angus Savage from Next Gen 15. We're here along with the Sporting Excellence Group with David Fitzgerald, Mike Friday, Richard Birkett and Sam Howard. And we're going to learn a little bit about what Sporting Excellence Group is all about, what these guys are up to and how you guys who are watching can get involved. So, David, do you want to just tell me a bit about how it all came together?
Yeah, sure. Sporting Excellence Group is a new sports development platform for young people aged between 11 and 18 predominantly. And it's come about through people that I was at school with and guys that I played rugby with in terms of trying to access elite sportsmen to help these young guys develop both on and off the sports field. We run 3 sports, football, cricket and rugby. The football and cricket guys I was at school with from the age of 10. Football's led by Steve Kemba, Leicester, Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Cricket's run by or led by Mark Butcher, England, Surrey, and Mike Friday's running our rugby for us. The aim of SEG really is to pass on our skill sets as professional athletes so that our athletes can develop and be educated in terms of what it takes to be a pro athlete, but not with the ultimate game necessarily of turning everybody into pros, because that A isn't for everybody and B won't be for everybody, but more how these guys can use those skill sets going forward in everyday life on and off the sports field. We are a group of very successful sports people, but also we are a group of very successful people off the sports field as well. And we've come together as a group looking at how we developed as youngsters, what assets we use, as I say, on and off the sports field. And we are trying to pass those skill sets on to the guys that are lucky enough to come and work with us.
And so, Mike, you're running the rugby program, and tell me a bit about like the sort of detail on the coaching. Is it going to be like very much individual led, or are we looking at group exercise? What's it looking like?
I think from the rugby perspective, you know, as David's already kind of alluded to, we're trying to maximise the potential of the person and make them the best version of themselves. Because if we can make them better people and better individuals, then we'll make them a better rugby player. So I think there's the behaviours and the values and the requirements if you want to be successful in anything in life, including sport. So we want to give and help give an insight to the players on what is required. Obviously, these young athletes and young rugby players want to be the best players that they can be. So what we want to instill in them is the necessary core skills, decision-making, understanding that's required to be successful technically and tactically on the pitch. But also there's that communication, that personnel point that if you want to be successful on the pitch that you need as well, how you communicate, what you're communicating, that camaraderie, that teamsmanship, all of those aspects to be a good teammate, which are so important alongside the technical and tactical understanding and appreciation of the game. And, you know, between the three of us and those other coaches that we bring in, you know, with Sam and with Richard, we feel we can give an experience to those players that come on board that will complement what they get with their schools and their clubs, because we're very much not about having a team. We're very much about helping the individual become the best version of themselves, but understanding that they're part of something else and something bigger.
Yeah, massively. That sounds really exciting. And I guess the open to as many players as possible. Is there a sort of requirement of a base level to be able to sort of sign up, or is it open to a more wide ranging sort of person? What's the kind of entry requirements?
You can take that, Sam.
Yeah, obviously this is a sort of tricky bit because obviously we're new. So clubs, especially a little bit, as you can imagine, reticent about sort of releasing players. They think that we want to steal them, but we're not about that. We're
Can't imagine that.
Working with clubs, working with schools. So between us, obviously, we know a lot of people in schools and club environments. So we're trying to work with them, get them to understand what we're trying to do, that we're not trying to tread on anyone's toes. So we're looking at like on a referral basis. So the clubs, schools are saying to us, look, you want to look at these guys. Maybe one of the Premiership clubs has sort of let them go or not quite picked them up. Why don't they come to us? They can develop their skills. And as you know, people like Don Brandt, Tommy O'Flaherty, there are a lot of players out there that get missed by academies. So there's no real barrier to entry to who comes. And once you're part of the SEG group, as long as you work hard, communicate, then you're in. It's not like, we're not like an academy. There's no like, we're getting rid of people, okay? But you have to meet the standards that we require. But yeah, it's an ongoing process. We're still new. We're learning what to do. But at the moment, like, we've got our camp over half term where we want boys to come along. We have one over Christmas. So with the goal of running sort of 10-week blocks once a week, where they can obviously learn their skills and develop there.
It's pretty cool. And where is the camp?
The camp is at Trinity, it's Trinity Old Boys. I can't remember what it's called. I think they're called Trinity Rugby Club, but it's in Sanderstead, Surrey.
Awesome. Plenty of people that be able to get themselves down to that. Richard, I imagine this is the sort of thing that, you know, you've probably seen a lot of players come through with during your time that, you know, could have benefited quite a lot from the extra sort of coaching aside from what they were normally getting.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, when I spoke to Geezer about this a while ago, and he explained to me what the project was all about, I was really, really excited about being involved because, I mean, my background, clearly I played with Geezer for years and years at Wasps and then went into the school sector coaching. And I was always very passionate about just developing young players, and it was something I loved doing. So when there's the opportunity to essentially help in that process and especially look after those players who might get missed or they might get dropped out of it, but they're 15, 16 years old and you want to keep them in the game for as long as possible and loving it and you know, sharing my passion for the game. That was just an opportunity too good to be missed. And I genuinely think it's such a good idea because I know from my own experience of playing rugby that I didn't really develop probably till I was 17, 18, you know. So if there had been the DPP system when I was playing, I would have been discarded probably at an early age and probably gone away and done something different. So the fact that this will keep kids in the game and they can keep going all the way through to university and then we can support them through that, I think is fantastic. And it could be that, you know, we look after someone, keep them in the game, and then come 21, 22, they're back into professional sport and they are the next Don Brandt or, you know, Flatty. So that was something I was really keen to be involved in.
I guess, I mean, we sort of think about what the aim of it is. I mean, obviously it's to help as many kids as possible come through and get become the best player they can possibly be. But I guess the ultimate sort of prize for you guys would be if a next Don Brandt, if a next Tommy O'Flaherty, someone like that comes along, and you've played a role in that. That's presumably the sort of magic moment that you're hoping for.
I think. I mean, obviously, I think that would be one of them. But I must admit, I think Richard picked up on it there. I think we are very much aimed at the high level performer who we keep in the game. We help through university. They come back to us, or go elsewhere. I don't think for us success is necessarily. We produce a professional athlete like the guys you've just mentioned. As I said at the start, I think that will happen just as a matter of course, that because of the guys that we've got working for us. But I do think that our success is someone who we've managed to keep in the game, who may have left the game, can share our passion for it. And then, do you know what? goes on, becomes a lawyer, but comes back to us and says, man, the skill set that we learned with you, I can see it working for me now. That's as equally a bigger thing for us as it would be to produce the next on brand, to be honest.
I like that. It's probably echoed across a lot of the country in terms of what a lot of coaches are trying to impart is just a sort of set of skills that benefit you no matter what you're doing. Sam, you obviously know young players inside out. You've worked with school kids for forever and ever now. Is this something you've spotted that's been sort of massively missing in terms of those guys that are sort of maybe not getting the experience they should be getting elsewhere, and they need this sort of an opportunity?
Obviously, I've been very fortunate to work in sort of very good establishments where everything is provided.
They've been all right, haven't they?
Yeah, it's like they don't really want for anything if they're at a Dulwich or a Tunbridge or like a Whitgift. So to be fair, it's sort of not my experience so much there because, as I said, the boys get whatever they want. But within that system, as I said, there's Tommy, but there's loads more, as you know, like Big Josh, if I'm not clear. Rugby, and we're well aware, so many late developers. Like Burko said, it wasn't until he was sort of 17, 18. So we just want to make sure that we're giving all the technical, tactical skills, but as we said, life skills as well to the boys from when they're 14, 15, 16. They might be small. They might not have developed yet, but we know that they're going to come through. So we want to we don't discount anyone. Okay. There's sort of anyone, and it might be that they don't go on and become professionals, but it might be that they go on and play at university, and they might not play for the university first team, but they're playing rugby. And again, as Fitzy says, that's what we want. We don't want boys to give up because they're too small or they've had one knockback. It's like, keep going. Like resilience will be one of the skills we talk about. Keep going, and you'll come out of the SEG performance group as a much better, more rounded person. And who knows what you go on to be. You might go on to play for England. You might go into the city. You might go on, but hopefully as a person, you become better. And with the people that we've got on board, we can definitely do that.
100%. And I guess, Mike, you through working with US Sevens, I guess you actually, that's a process you've seen probably with a lot of guys, I would imagine, in that everyone arrives via a relatively unusual route. Or not everyone, but a lot of people do.
It's magnified, let's just say, in America, because it is such a diverse upbringing. But as the boys have alluded to, that it's about creating and giving opportunity for these rugby players to excel through sport, to become the best version of themselves. And I think that's the most critical piece here, because we all know rugby is about opinion, whether you get picked for a squad or whether you get picked for to be in the academy. It's all down to one person's opinion, when the reality is if a young man or young lady wants to be determined, resilient, and excel at the best that they can at the sport that they choose, where do they go to get that opportunity? Where do they go to fuel that passion to be the best version of themselves? And we want to be that vehicle for those players. Yes, they need to show ability, but the reality is in our sport, there are so many players that have such a wide breadth of ability that just need the opportunity. And with some support, some nurture, some development, some encouragement, maybe the odd critical word as well, or maybe quite a few critical words, because sometimes people need that as well, to allow them to excel, it is crucial. And that's the environment we're trying to create, where a player has to actively commit to try and be the best that they can be. And then we will help and do everything we can to do that through the school model, be them state school, be it public school, whatever. And with the network that we probably have, we can help them on their rugby journey or their university journey with our connections, which could lead them to other things in sport, or as Fitzy has already alluded to, could lead to other career opportunities as well, where they have these foundation that they were taught and learned embedded in them in SEG, which will help. And it's just part of the journey, right? Because we want to sit and complement what the schools are doing, what they're doing at the grassroots clubs, because that's so important, because it's about diversity of experience as well. But hopefully learning accurate and proper techniques and tactical understanding along the way, as well as those kind of people skills, which are so important today.
No, I'll tell you, I could have done with it back in my day. I got dropped from my first team once upon a time for I was an open side back then, for not playing like a proper open side. No one had ever told me what a proper open side played like. I'm sure I'll work on that.
Yeah. You crack on.
Yeah. But that's the thing, stuff like this, for guys, and me of the past or whoever, these are the sort of gaps that would probably get filled by something like this existing, where you come along and you go, oh, this has just happened to me and I don't understand why. And you guys can step in and basically fill that hole with some good coaching. Just talk
I think that's a really important point, actually. And I guess as the kids get older, our role will move with it as well. But when they do get to that time, like 16, 17, 18, in addition to all of the coaching ability we've got on the technical side, there's definitely an education, development, mentoring type of piece that we just bring, because as Guy said, the contacts and who we know and how it works, whether that be education, whether that be workplace, whether that be at the professional end, is relatively unique because of the three sports and who we've got working with us. And we take that very, very seriously in terms of how our athletes and SEG athletes get the full exposure experience that we have, to not just help them on the pitch, but when they get that knockback, which it is definitely coming because it's happened to all of us, as you just alluded to, how do you react to that, number one, as a person, and how can we help you move on to the next phase, which isn't, by the way, just giving up, because that doesn't work for us, and it shouldn't work for them either. So that element is very important to us, and it's something that, as I say, I think will happen later as the program progresses and the guys are with us for a bit longer. It probably won't happen at under 11. It's not necessary, but under 18, then it is necessary, and it's something that we're very keen and acute to in terms of what our offering should be to all of our athletes.
Yeah. So February, tell me what it looks like. If I'm coming along, what am I getting? What we're going to do?
So this is where, like, we've talked a lot about the person as a whole and what we believe in, but parents, boys, short term, they want to become better rugby players. They want to be upskilled, and that's just as important for us as well. And that's why Dave's put together the group that he's put together in football, cricket, and in rugby. You've got very, very good, very experienced coaches that are going to recognize what skill development is needed in each individual, how that individual can improve in that session, but also how, when they leave SEG on that day, when they go back to their club, when they go to the school, when they go to their garden, how they can develop whatever skill it might be that we've worked on that day. And there will be contact elements, there'll be tackle elements, there'll be decision making, handling. So we try and cover as much as we can, whilst also trying to be as detailed and specific on individual skills, so that probably the detail that we will go into is more than the boys or girls have probably ever had before, whether it be at their club or at their school. So we're really trying to target the nitty-gritty of individual elements of techniques, and also decision making within games as well.
Well, I mean, you look at the sort of law changes over the last few years. Certainly, defensively, I suspect good technique is more important than it's ever been. Not that it was ever not important, but an inch here or there counts for masses these days. But it's going to be. I mean, presumably, then all three of you guys doing the rugby coaching, it's going to be fairly inspirational for the kids that turn up. We've got Sevens coaching legend. We've got Heineken Cup league wins in Richard, and we've got Sam Howard, the school's coaching coaching genius. You know, there's a fair smattering of inspiration for kids that turn up. So they should be getting pretty excited about what's to come. You know, there's a fairly rounded coaching education there that they're going to get. And I guess, I mean, was that, you're going to be all too modest to say, but was that in mind when you kind of all came together of going, well, we actually, from very different areas, we actually have a huge amount that we can offer individually and collectively?
I think, well, Dave sort of put us together, but we, as Dave said, we all know each other. We all get on, despite all being very, very different, which probably helps as well, in our sort of personalities, positions. We also do Burko, attitudes, which all mold together really well. If we were all just robots and the same, it probably wouldn't bring that eclectic sort of fun mix that we have. But yeah, Dave has put together, not just in the rugby, but the cricket and football, the people that he's put together is very impressive. And I think, like, this is Dave's brainchild, and there's thought has gone into who he's put together as well. It's not just sort of, all right, we'll just get them. And I think we do cover most bases with what we offer.
We do, and I think, you know, it's not just us. Obviously, with our network, the other peoples we can bring in at certain times, dependent on what those individuals may or may not need. But philosophically, I think the three sports have the same outlook, which is developing the person, and then we get a better sportsman, and then ultimately they can try and achieve and maximize their potential. And, you know, what you have on the rugby side is philosophically as well, we are very much about the technical part and the tactical piece. Dare I say it, we don't just want to play games, because that's not how you learn. And that is something that as a group, we want our players to become technically very, very strong, tactically very astute. So, you know, when you look at our skill sets, be it defensively or attacking wise or forward or back, in terms of the technical side and the tactical astuteness, we've got a lot of the EQ kind of on the call at the moment, but we're also not arrogant enough to know that we've got a lot of other people we can call upon to come in and give a different voice, a different perspective, because it's about these young rugby players having different perspectives and different outlooks and views on things to allow them to become better, more rounded rugby players and human beings. Because the more experiences you have, the more aware you become of what the options are.
Nice. Right, I've got some really random questions that I put. Well, basically, I told people that we were talking to you guys, and I said, what can you give me? So they're all quite random. I'll pull them up here, but I'll fire them about. So, Richard, of all the Lions that you played alongside, who was the best?
Of all the Lions. Well, I'll have to say Shawsey, just because he's my second row bro.
Good answer. Good answer. Also, you know, you stretch it that long, he's doing well. Mike, who's faster, Carlin Isles or Perry Baker?
Carlin by quite a fair bit.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Carlin is ridiculously quick, but I think the difference is that with ball in hand and about separation, then it becomes a different discussion. But out and out speed, Carlin is, the quickest by quite some way.
Do you ever just put them on straight races, or too old?
Well, I mean, if you ask Perry, this is it. If you put him in a straight race, Perry will have a crack, but he just knows that Carlin will always be able to just push ahead because of Carlin's track background as well. So, you know, out and out speed, Seafly is the man, but with a ball in hand, it changes. Comes situational led then.
Don't I know it? Put a ball in my hand and I slow down about 5 yards. Running in treacle. Sam, who was this is unfair. Who's the best of the three Dulwich title winning teams?
The middle team I would have backed against anyone. I think that we were the best team in the country that year. The first year and the third year, we could have beaten anyone on their day, and I would have backed them. But we probably weren't the best team in the country in those first and third years. They didn't know how to lose. They wouldn't lose. But I think that second year, I think we were the best team in the country.
I'd agree with that, to be fair. Richard, on a night out, which Wasp player from your era can you not go without?
Did I not what? Sorry.
Can you not go without? You've got to bring them with you. Which one has to come?
In one context. Let's go. Let's just say for sheer mouth moments where you just can't understand what is going on. We'll go Andy Powell. Andy Powell.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. You may not get home, but fair enough.
He was absolutely mad as a box of frogs.
Isn't he just? Sam, did you ever think of playing Tom O'Flaherty on the wing?
Not at Dulwich, no, because he was so good at scrum half. But he was an athlete. He
played on the wing for Blackheath.
At Blackheath, when he straight out of school, he played for Blackheath on the wing. Like, he worked probably harder than any boy that I had at Dulwich from about the age of 14, 15, away from the pitch. He was in the gym. He was always on the track. He was an excellent long jumper. So he had that athletic development and desire to do well. No, because he was so good at scrum half. I just couldn't believe that no one else wanted to have a look at him. Obviously, he came into the Samurai Bulldog Sevens, went to Blackheath, and then sort of became a winger then. And look at how well he's gone on to do.
To be fair, it was mad that no one had a look at him. I remember watching that team, and you had like Beno Obano and all those others, and he stood out above all of them as well. He was the best player on the pitch almost every time. I can't believe no one's having a look.
Week in, week out, and with that afro as well, he was like so recognisable. And every school would say, "How has no one picked him up?" And I was onto the academy as well. I didn't always have the best relationships with academies, but I was on them for Tommy. I banged his drum every other week.
I'll tell you what, it's a good tip you guys should be handing out to kids. Get yourself a big haircut or a bright scrum cap or a good pair of boots. You want to get yourself noticed. That's the way to do it.
He enjoyed himself off the pitch as well, Tommy.
he's at the right club for it now then. Right, Mike, last one for you. This is quite a long one, actually. Okay, we're not going to do it quite like that. But of the teams you've coached, can you pick me an ultimate sevens team? We'll go pretty quick, though. So just 7.
Whoa, that's tough. Right, so Oscar Uma. Jesus. Probably I'm going to have Pinkelman in there. And I will bring forward probably Josh Lucy. I've got Amor at 9. I've got Henry Paul at 10, and I've probably got Matthew Tate in the centre, and anyone from 7 on the wing, because I've got to choose between David Strettle, Hugo Monye, Carlin, Perry. I mean, it's you can pick the winger.
I'll go Carlin, because you know what, he's the original sort of 7s superstar from the US. He changed the game. I think people in terms of people's perspectives, they went, oh wow, that is something special. So there you go. I'll pick him for you. Can I get a gig on the coaching?
Yeah, you're in. You're in charge of racehorses.
No, it's all right. We're running out of time a little bit, so we'll just come back to SEG. The concept is clear. It's a great chance for kids to get that deeper, more personal level of coaching with some guys that know absolutely what they're doing. It sounds like as well, just you guys all get on. There's going to be a fun atmosphere out there. It should, it's not just going to be a hard day's graft by the sound of it. I mean, it will be a hard day's graft, but it'll be good fun for the kids as well.
100%. Has to start with fun, right? Otherwise people won't come back and people will give up the game. We love it. We've always loved it. And I think that level of enthusiasm is really interesting watching all three sports. The most enthusiastic people at any session are always the coaches at the moment. The kids are going to get there, but the fun aspect and enthusiasm, it's palpable. So 100%, yeah.
And I know we've spoken rugby, but we have alluded to the fact that there's loads of other sports as well, and the coaching staff. I mean, I've been browsing around the website. The coaching setup for every sport is just insane. Right, the people are going to be very, very lucky when they sign up.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
All right, gents, we'll see how things develop. It's going to be pretty exciting times to come, I'm pretty sure. Thanks very much for speaking to us, and we'll look forward to seeing how SEG progresses, and hopefully loads and loads of kids are going to enjoy themselves and get some great coaching.
Thank you.
Cheers, Angus. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks very much.